Well, we're going to start with our home state, Inspire's home state of Queensland. And we're just going to, what we're going to do is just walk through one by one the current grants. And we're not going to cover every grant that's existed since COVID kicked off. But it's more so the recent ones, the ones that are focused on the lockdowns in July, August, to walk through those with you. And Riz, you know I like doing this. Would you like to kick off with our with our first grant?
Yeah, there's no issues at all. So yeah, as Ben mentioned, we're going to cover quite a few states there, but there are certain states that have a bit more information out right now. So Queensland is probably second in line or third maybe. New South Wales has the most, but I'm just going to run through this Queensland one right now. It's fairly new just because the lockdown period started only recently, unlike New South Wales where they've been, I think 6-7 weeks maybe coming up to 8. It's a bit insane. But the idea here is that they're introducing a $5,000 once-off payment to businesses, eligible businesses. Now, that's for businesses that are affected by the lockdown from Saturday, the 31st of July. So you might have remembered we had the Delta variant. I think we had 2 lockdowns now. On 31st of July, they introduced a lockdown recently, and that's the one that they've kind of released this one based on. So it opens mid-August, so we're expecting more information sometime this week, and then we're going to close. It's going to close in mid-November. There's what they're looking for is a 30% reduction in turnover, and people who might have been on JobKeeper before might be familiar with this, where usually they just compare a kind of prior periods to the current period that you were affected by the lockdown. Now, for you to be eligible as a business, you need to have a turnover of at least $75,000, but you also have to have payroll less than $10 million. So you can't be a massive multinational business, I guess. With massive payrolls. Now, when they first kind of released it, they did mention that it's to do with SEQ or South East Queensland that's impacted by the lockdown. But recently, they released more information about extending that to further North Queensland, just because you might have seen some cases flying around in Cairns and things like that that's come up. So they had to adjust a little bit of what they're going to make those grants available to. More importantly, they're really focusing on hospitality and the tourism sector. So if you're a big businesses in hospitality and tourism sector, and if you're in one of the 11 local government areas, you will be eligible for this grant. Obviously, you have to meet those eligibility criteria. So that there might be a lot of questions that comes through about the what do you call this? The downturn, the 30% downturn itself. And we're really basing a lot of it. We're kind of like watching New South Wales with a lot of the details that they've provided. But we're kind of seeing what they're doing, and they might apply that to Queensland. We're getting more information. Literally, this is the most up-to-date information we have right now. So you might pop in some questions there, and the team might be able to answer that. But do be patient with kind of trying to get the information. We're kind of watching the news while we're on the phone with the clients as well, at the same time trying to give them updates there.
And maybe we can sort of share what we don't know as well. So we don't actually know what the 30% period relates to. We've got the guide that New South Wales did or has done, which we'll cover shortly, but it basically takes a 2-week window during the lockdown and compares that to a previous 2-week window. Again, there's very little information we know. We do actually expect a fair few businesses to be eligible for this one. And we'll kind of cover why when we cover New South Wales, because New South Wales has an exceptionally good set of grants at the moment. So, alrighty, I can see some questions coming in for this one. Stacey's asked, is it about the 75K turnover threshold and payroll in Queensland from Laura. Again, thanks team for answering those questions as we go. I might pull a couple up, but towards the end. But cool. So that is the Queensland Business Support Grants. Our whole team's sitting there refreshing the page every morning. So once we know some more info, we might get that out to anyone who is Queensland based that we know of. Cool. Now, just on Queensland stuff, there's other rumours. I feel like Queensland's just really slow to move on this stuff. But I've seen some stuff around waiving liquor licence fees and also additional help for hospitality and tourism industries. Again, like yet to see like black and white stuff at the moment on the Queensland front. So that is all about Queensland.